I really enjoyed the fight between Zoro and Braham, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the chapter I was left gasping going, what the hell happened to Sanji? One Piece Chapter 259, Pirate Zoro vs. Warrior Braam. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, mythical, magical tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us really dividing up and seeing a little bit from at least the four of the crew considered the gold team. They're actually on foot in the jungle, in the forest, and really ended with Zoro and this Shandian warrior Braham going to be going head to head, and really that's what the title is the chapter is titled actually is Zoro versus this warrior, this Braham. So and that's what the beginning is. That's where it picks up. It picks up with Zoro, of course, and if you remember at the end of last chapter, Zoro's kind of like, yeah, hey, listen, sorry, I underestimated you as being a small fry, and he was kind of like, yeah, sorry, I thought you were just an insignificant blue sea person. So they're going to go toe to toe. Braham, we find out very quickly, the pistols that he has are like these flash guns that create like flashes and disorient and throw off, obviously, the timing of a swordsman like Zoro. And we find out very quickly that really, at least at the early point in the match, Zoro is seeming to be outmatched. He also those skate-looking things that he has, they're powered like waver dials, and he's able to actually, that's what's able to actually make him kind of float and jump and be able to spin through the air acrobatic like that, like he does, and kind of be able to get some hits in on Zoro. And really it winds up being, after a few pages, he's kind of like, listen, my the normal stuff that I have here is not working. I'm not defeating him. I'm not getting my ass kicked. I mean, I'm keeping him disoriented and everything else, but, really have to try something different and new. And as Zoro goes to kind of come up and strike and attack him, he winds up using a milky dial. He uses this milky dial, and two of these giant eels go and pop up from the, from the ground, basically out of the ground. I'm assuming because this milky dial holds them or creates a hold on, whatever it winds up doing. These two giant eels come out. As Zoro's coming down, he takes these things out. But because of the disorientation from the flash guns and everything else, he actually winds up getting shot in one of his legs, and he's talking about how his legs hurt and he's not feeling very good. And then he goes and kind of picks up on the flash goggle or these flash guns that he's using are really kind of screwing me up over here, and especially as a swordsman, it's messing with his timing, right? So then he goes and he pulls down like the goggle-like glasses that he has, and he's like, oh, I'll be fine now. And he tries to bluff him out. He's like, I'll be fine now with these, these shades, basically, like these sunglasses, And and Braham's just like, yeah, sorry, buddy, those don't look like sunglasses to me. And Zoro's like, damn it, he figured me out. He saw through my ruse, Zoro's just such a bad liar, when it comes to that stuff. But then I kind of like what happened here. Zoro went and kind of centered himself, and he went and he pulled this thing out over here, and he goes and he's like, and this is really cool, because I bet you a lot of people as you read through didn't pick up on this, and maybe it's important, maybe it's not. To me right now it's important, though, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. He goes and he says, sight, sound, smell, touch, taste, and intuition. Now, we know about the five senses. He goes and adds the extra one, intuition, right? And he goes and he says, now, a man has six senses, and each of these can be good, bad, or neutral, right? So depending on those six senses that you have, they can be good, bad, or neutral, which if you do 6 times 3 is 18, right? Then he goes, furthermore, each of these can also be pure or impure. In a lifetime, there are 36 earthly desires. Because at first when I read 36, oh, hold on a second, you're throwing a lot of math at me here. But then I was like, all right, you got the 6 senses, right, that he talks about. The intuition being that 6th sense, if you have ever heard of things like that 6th sense, that feeling that you can get sometimes when something's appear, something's there, But anyway, so obviously, and then of course, having the good, neutral, or evil, and then pure or impure. So if you go 6 times 3, that's 18, plus 2 more with the pure or impure, 18 times 2 for those 18 senses, you get the 36. So I really thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, what he winds up doing, though, to him, he just goes, and this is really cool, he's just like, right now I have a cannon aimed right at you. You are a pistol, I am a cannon. In timing and power, my weapon will win. You did well, but now you will die. Now, Braham has, and Zoro has no problem with Braham either, okay? And he winds up saying this, but a little bit later on, but Braham's the one that wanted to fight him and then threatened his life and everything else. So Zoro's like, all right, listen, buddy, I didn't want no trouble, but you brought trouble, so I'm going to take care of you now, And I thought that was really cool. And then Braam goes to come at him, and he's just like, a cannon? What are you insane? You don't have any cannon, And then it was great because Zoro's just like, have you ever seen a flying slash attack? And he's just like, enough of this nonsense, and he comes at him. And then he does one sword style, and he goes, boom, 36-pound phoenix. Now, I don't know if that's translated differently somewhere else or whatever. All I know is the attack itself, if you look at it, just looks awesome. It's drawn well, the way and he just nails him. The timing, everything that he did was just perfect, and he winds up going and taking Braam out. And then I like it, too, because afterwards he even says, he's just like, listen, buddy, sorry about that. I don't have anything against you, but, when I'm told I'm going to be killed, I don't take it lying down. I'll do what it takes to survive. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Zoro and the way he is. Yes, he is a soldier. Yes, he is. He will listen to his captain, and he's loyal to a fault. But really, I think that type of... I don't even know how to explain, but just that type of sheer focus that he has is great. You know what I mean? He says straight up, listen, bro, I had no problem with you. I had no conflict with you. But when you tried to bring conflict to the table and then threatened my existence, now I have a problem with you. Only to the point to where you're out of my way, and now we have no problems with you threatening, or you threatening my existence. So, very cool fight. Ended the way I thought it would be, even though Braam did maintain an upper hand for a good portion of the fight. Zoro did wind up coming through and just beasting and ultimately besting Braam. We're then taken to a brief area in somewhere off in the jungle, and we see Gedatsu. And everybody cleared it up for me, but I saw it too, obviously. The headdress-looking thing that's coming out of his ears is actually his hair, the one with the weird, kind of holding his elbows in guy. So he's standing over there after he has grabbed one of the Shandians by his head and looks like he's defeated one of them, and he's got his elbows crossed all weird again. And Chopper's kind of wandering around, and he wanders around, he finds some ruins, he's like, I wonder what's over here, I wonder what's there, not even noticing Gedatsu, right? And Gedatsu's just like, what is that? Is that a squirrel? Is it a fox? Or something? He thinks it's some kind of small woodland creature, So it was definitely kind of a neat little thing that we saw there. And as I said, the majority of the chapter really was that cool fight between Zoro and Braam, and Braam being able to kind of flash and spin around and use those flash pistols. And a very cool character design, I thought, but really, I'm sorry, pal, you're not gonna best Zoro over here, okay? So. Just my thought, my 2 cents on that one. But anyway, so then we were taken to the last couple pages of the chapter, and this really kind of threw me for a loop because you see the going merry on a milky road, as they were going and kind of heading around and trying to get to where their rendezvous point is, and you just kind of hear the word bubbles like, no, Sanji, are you okay? No, and I'm like, what the hell happened? What, him and Ganfal get into it? I'm thinking maybe some of the heavenly warriors came upon him, maybe one of the other priests or something, maybe that Ohm, right? And we wind up seeing, and then they're like, no, and Ganfal's sitting there, and Usopp and Nami are trying to tend to him, and they're like, oh my God, his heart stopped, it's not beating, and I'm like, oh, well, what the hell happened to him, right? Then they go and they show the last page of the chapter, and here, the last page of the chapter, we wind up seeing Enel, and he's sitting there. He came upon them for whatever reason or another. We have no idea what happened, but obviously Sanji went and tried to attack him or tried to go toe-to-toe with him. Sanji is, oh no, I don't hear a heartbeat. So Sanji's heart is not beating right now, okay? He's temporarily dead. He's on his way to the frickin' Twilight Zone, and then, he's got a man to do. Anyway, but that's, again, if you don't know it, Google it. So, and then he's just like, foolish young man. I didn't come here to trouble you. And it's like, well, then why are you here? Oh, is that any way to treat an old friend? It's been 6 years, former god Ganfal. Well, whatever. It wasn't like that was, and they were supposed to be, and that's the end of the chapter, right? And there's supposed to be, some kind of, stoic, ending or whatever. And we knew that Ganfal was the former god, and we also knew that Enel wound up defeating him, however way, whether it was underhanded or not, to become the new god. So it isn't like that's a big revelation. However, that just kind of coming out of nowhere, I do hope in the next couple of chapters they kind of explain, at least in a brief flashback or something, and show what happened. But I guess too, maybe it'll, if not, it'll illustrate just how powerful this god Enel is. That Sanji, being as strong as he is, didn't even stand a chance at least at this point in being able to harm him or what have you. So definitely a cool chapter. My My chapter question, though, it kind of goes back to that whole thing about the 36, senses in life and everything else. What did you think about that? I kind of liked how he went and Zoro, because he's kind of like enlightened and he's like next level with his swordsmanship and everything. I kind of liked how he named the 5 senses and then threw the 6th sense in there as the intuition, as that just being like, that's like one of the senses of human life, And then I kind of like, too, the good, neutral, or evil, and then the pure or impure, for those things. I really just like the way that it was explained, and to me, like I said, that was one of the cool, profound things in the chapter. Whether it's used later on in the story or not, I don't know, don't care, but I thought that it was a great way of Oda kind of bringing this sense of, Zoro really is on a different level than many other people are. He's really in a class by himself, and it kind of shows, I think, with something like this, So, and the move itself was just very cool. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, and then, of course, the move that he used, the 36-pound phoenix or whatever, so... leave your answer in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you have not done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. If you'd like to see more drawings that are done here by yours truly, go over onto my Facebook or Instagram page and check them out.